Mic check. We are not a hate group. We are not a hate group. We are not a hate group. We are not affiliated with any other Israelite groups. Israel United in Christ is a nonviolent Bible-based movement. We do not advocate or condone any acts of violence against any race, ethnicity, or gender. We advise that if anyone hears or knows of any plots to cause harm to anyone or to break the laws of the land, you must contact the proper authorities to bring awareness to any possible threats as stated in Leviticus 5:1.
Hey, Shalom Israel. Welcome to another Thursday late show of Precept Upon Precept. We are your hosts. My name is Captain Shem.
Officer Mikael.
Officer Micah.
Officer Iran.
So all praise to the Most High. You know how we roll. Hey, before we start up the show, check it out. Do us a favor. We're on the road to 30,000 subscribers. Go ahead and first of all, subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell thing icon, and go ahead and share and comment. We want to grow. And also, I say it at the end of the show, but a lot of you sleep by that point. Go ahead and tell us if there's things right now. Is tonight's show y'all gonna enjoy. There's a lot of stuff going on right now, but if there's something you're interested in for us to get into, I start research on Sunday or Monday and get into it. So drop a line. Tell us what you want to hear. So with that, we start the first section. There's a lot of stuff off, so Mike is probably going to blitzkrieg through because there's a lot of stuff going on. So we take it off, so Micah and the Watchman Report.
Hey, Shalom Israel, Most High in Christ. Bless. Good evening. Welcome to Precept Upon Precept. Not going to hold up the show. Let's go. Russian cruise missiles have U.S. Air Force scouting for thousands of acres of land. They got them looking for land. Next article. Israeli airstrikes surge in Gaza, destroying homes and killing dozens at a time. Guess they ain't worried about John 3:16, y'all. Next article. All right. U.S. readies plans for mass evacuation if Gaza war escalate. Washington Post. So it's getting crazy over there. Last but not least. Witness recount scramble to survive when gunman opens fire in Lewiston, Maine bowling alley. This dude is still on the loose, y'all. So just make sure you're being safe. With that, this concludes the Washington Report.
Hey, Shalom Israel. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. First half of the show, we're going to get into it. We have a thumbnail tonight that is... Speak on a little bit, because Officer Mika, you were saying something on one of the telegrams about the technology.
Hey, yeah. The thumbnail was actually created using AI. All the images are created using AI. But what you see here is the Eagle's global nest is threatened. This is going into the U.S. and Israel's connection. They call Israel Little America in the Middle East. So when Little America is threatened, Big Brother's going to come in, and that's what y'all are seeing here. The U.S. is going to be helping Israel. So the eagle, everybody knows that the eagle is the representation of the United States. We have an eagle here wrapped in the American flag, and the eagle actually has on a pilot's jacket showing that he's ready to fight for his brothers.
Oh, praise. Hey, when you think about an eagle, right, and you think about a nest, so the way I pictured it, I was saying, hey, what's a good name of the show? And I'd be pondering on these things. So if you think about an eagle has nests all over the world. So if his nest gets threatened, what does it do? Doesn't matter who, it's just going to fight. And that's what you're going to see tonight's show. When you threaten the eagle's nest, it doesn't matter it's time for war. And that's what you're going to find tonight. So let's start first with... Officer Matthew posted something. I want to check it out. I didn't get a chance to really go through, but I want to check it out. I think it's earmarked and everything for us. All right, so it's number one. Number one. All right. Number one.
It's not the time to talk about peace.
It is not the time to talk about peace. Because if,
Why
if you
is that?
stop now, Israel, if you stop us and do not enable Israel to destroy Hamas capabilities, the only thing that you'll be doing is to zero the timer for the next escalation. There is no peace, there's no reconciliation,
Now, real
there's
quick
no...
pause. So just to be clear, I want you to remember her words because tonight we're going to take a trip down a history with white Jewish Israelis, and they're going to talk about the evil of people like her. Okay, she represents what's called, has a Zionist political plot, whereas the other Israelis who may be Jewish people that either live in the land of Israel, or they might live in Russia, they might live in the U.S., they do not, many of them do not agree with, that doesn't give them a pass, but they do not agree with political Zionism, which we brought out in last show. So, play on.
Settlement with this entity that is about destroying a state. It's not about the Palestinian
You said that,
rights.
this is not the time to talk about peace. The first attempt to get a UN resolution was to have a humanitarian pause. Ghana abstained in that vote. Give me your reaction to that.
We believe that Ghana is reviewing very carefully. I'm not here to talk on behalf of Ghana, but I understand that Ghana is reviewing very carefully each and every draft resolution, and they're making very careful decisions about that will demonstrate best the interests of Ghana. And again, I'm the representative of Israel, so it is not my place.
But you have an
to talk about...
expectation of your allies and friends.
Absolutely.
I believe you consider Ghana an ally and friend.
Absolutely, yes.
What's your expectation of Ghana in these votes, in these decisions that are being made at the UN?
We expect Ghana to continue with the same line of the official announcement that they have made on October 8th, one day after these atrocities took place, where they clearly condemned Hamas.
Pause real quick. You see what she's doing? Because the way that the Israeli media spins it is they would have you believe that Hamas did all of the damage, and after you find out that there was a lot of lies that were told, and now hold on, after the representative from Ghana said, well, after October 8th, wait a minute, we have to change our position somewhat. Now she's like, no, what you said right after, we expect you to stick to that. That's what because this is the representative, the least of the flock from Edom. The least, matter of fact, I was looking for it. Is it Jeremiah? Get me there where it says the least of the flock. Bishop brought that out last week. Bishop's been on super fire. Okay? Least of the flock. I think it's in Jeremiah. I didn't get a chance to write it down. But it's the least of the flock will draw them out. That's 50. But let's look at the verse above it real quick. So y'all, hang on 1 second. This just came to me, y'all.
The book of Jeremiah, chapter 50 and verse 44.
Hold up 1 sec, Iran. 50. Start at verse 1.
Verse 1. Jeremiah 50 and verse 1. The word that the Lord spake against Babylon and against the land of the Chaldeans by Jeremiah the prophet.
Remember, the scriptures speak in double, right? Double meanings. Yes, there are times when it's talking about Babylon, but also there are times when it talks about Babylon being Babylon the Great. When you read in Psalms 137, it sometimes Babylon is, and it says the daughter of Babylon. So now, read verse 44.
Verse 44. Behold, he shall come up like a lion from the swelling of Jordan unto the habitations.
Hold up. So these the first surely he shall make the habitation. Yeah, it is 45. 45. Read 45.
Verse 45. Therefore, hear ye the counsel of the Lord that he had taken against Babylon, and his purposes that he had purpose against the land of the Chaldeans.
So this is how we know. Read it again.
Therefore, hear ye the counsel of the Lord
Watch this.
that he had taken against Babylon.
That he have taken against Babylon. Now, Babylon here is talking about the United States of America. This is the title of the show, The Eagle's Global Nest. That's what it's talking about. Read on.
And his purposes that had purpose against the land of the Chaldeans.
Read on.
Surely the least of the flock.
The least of the flock. Like if you think about Esau as a flock, Esau, it's making a comparison to a nation with a flock of animals. So out of all the flocks of let's say of sheep, right, or eagles, right? You got the eagles. You could say all the flocks of a bird, right? Okay, eagles do run, but for this purpose, I like that. So the weakest of the least of the eagles is going to draw the big guy, the top eagle, out to war, and that's when you read in Joel chapter 3 about the valley of decision, right? The valley of Jehoshaphat. It actually, by the way, those of you, when you read Joel 3, it actually tells you the word decision if you read down. Okay, you got to read down. All right, now let's go back because so remember this lady's position. The lady's position is right after that happened with the attack that Hamas did in Israel. By the way, Israel has been causing so much more damage and so much more misery to the Palestinians than the Palestinians ever even thought about doing to the Israelis. So there's a huge disparity. We're going to get to that tonight. That was a good post that Officer Math did. Let's move on to, I'm going to move right on number 2. So, we're going to fly through tonight. Hold up, y'all. So, number 2. Watch this show. Hang on a second. When you look at number 2, hold up. I'm sorry. Give me 1 second. Okay, I got to scroll up. On number 2. Bear with me. Where is it? Okay, number 2. Okay. Yes. So this is, we had this guy on before. He is a Jewish rabbi. This is a review, but he's also going to condemn Zionism. This is an example. This is from the Jewish Caucasian perspective, right? Play.
We see this last Saturday. It was shocking to the world, but the world doesn't seem to take in regard the 75 years that every day almost you have Palestinian death and suffering. But we as Jews do take this into consideration. It's not how I personally look at this. It's how, as a Jew who's observant, who's following the rules of the Judaism, of the Torah, Judaism is subservience to God.
So
that's
what he's saying, again, and trying to be objective as possible. He is Caucasian who is making a self-proclamation that he is a practitioner of Judaism, meaning he identifies himself as Jewish, and he says that the Torah, which he follows, goes against the political movement of Zionism, which was established in 1948, thought of and drawn up in 1917 with the Balfour Declaration, and they supplanted the so-called, the Arabs, the Palestinian Arabs. That's not their land. Before that was the Ottoman Turks, and before that, other peoples came in before that. It was us who have now been scattered, the real 12 tribes of Israel. So play on.
About it's a religion of 3,000 years, while Zionism is a mere 150 years. It's a transformation to nationalism, to have a piece of land. It's a political movement. It's a materialistic movement. It was started by Jews who are non-religious, and they're simply incorporating.
Remember, we read last week, there are different sects of Jewish people, and they have a different understanding on the Torah, even within their Jewish beliefs. He's saying that Jews, play it again. He says something really heavy.
Israel using the Star of David and claiming that it's a God, it's given to them by God.
And we go back a little bit, just a little bit, please. He said something that's.
It's a transformation to nationalism, to have a piece of land. It's a political movement. It's a materialistic movement. It was started by Jews who were non-religious.
Pause. He's saying it was started by Jews, so-called Jewish, who are non-religious, meaning that they have moved away from the standards of religion, which is the laws of God that they claim to practice. So it has nothing to do with the religion of Judaism, and that's what he's making the point. Look, I'm Jewish. He never said I'm a Jew. He never said I'm an Israelite. I'm Jewish, and he doesn't want what's going on in Israel, but it doesn't matter what he wants. One point I want to make about all of these men that you see, the Caucasian Jewish rabbis, doesn't matter how they say it, doesn't matter how nice they sound, he directly and indirectly benefits from everything that has happened in Israel. He directly benefits from being associated with the label of Jewish and all the power that they possess and yield with them, and all of the Israeli connection to the United States. He directly benefits, no matter how he tries to stand up for Palestine, okay, he directly benefits from everything of the white supremacy movement of Jewish and Israeli nationalism called Zionism. That was a mouthful. All right? Go ahead.
So basically what you're saying is even Jewish people practice white fragility.
Yes. Yes, that's an interesting way to say it. Play on. We're going to move on. Play on.
Simply incorporating, using the name Israel, using the Star of David, and claiming that it's a God, it's given to them by God. And we who are following the Torah, who are true to the Torah, stand up adamantly refuting what they're saying. The Torah clearly states that we shall not kill, we shall not steal. And
so what he's saying is, and he's making a proclamation, is that they literally stole the land of Palestine from the Palestinians. Now, again, it has nothing to do because it's not their land to begin with. When you read Ezekiel 36:5 and Joel chapter 3, like we did last week, that land is being divided by Caucasian, Grecians, and Palestinian Arabs, or Edomites. Grecians and Joel, Edomites and Esau. Okay, let's get out of this guy. This guy's boring. Just the point is, they do not, a lot of these Jewish people are against Zionism, and he condemns it. Now, let's go to number 3. This is why I like this, because a lot of you, how do I say it? I'm not going to be able to say it nicely. A lot of you weak-ass niggas out there, you weak-ass black men with no spines, okay, you defend Jewish, so-called Jewish people. We're going to show you a clip of, I'm not saying every single one, because that Jewish guy, maybe he doesn't believe that. But this is what Esau teaches, and I want you to listen to what some of the children say in the classroom, because if they were such righteous parents or school administrators, they should have said, don't say that. Don't say that about those Palestinian children. Play number 3. And guess what? This is the way their leaders think too. We're going to show you that in a minute. Netanyahu, I think his name is. Play. We have to read this though. Can we? I'm gonna read this. So, okay. So, this is what the Israeli, the Jewish are teaching their kids at school. So, first it says, "What comes to your mind when I say the word Jerusalem?" And yet, go ahead. The Holy Land, the Holy House, and the Temple. So now the teacher is like a call and response. The children are like, they're saying Holy Land, Holy House, the Temple. Play on. Who thinks that the temple will be built in a few years? Now let's see what the Jewish, or I don't want to say Jewish, I'll say Amalekites or the Israelis. Let's see what the Israeli school children have to say about this. Play on. What is There's words behind it, and maybe that's a different language, the Yiddish language. But it says, what is their place of temple now? Play on. Al-Aqsa Mosque, okay. And that's where the Palestinians gather. What will happen to the mosque? Now, the mosque is in a place where they want to destroy that and put up their temple. That's what they're saying. They think that the temple will be rebuilt. That's what the teacher is trying to elicit from them, and the children are saying that. They're saying, oh, it's going to be built soon. Play on. Stop. The children are saying it will collapse, explode, and disappear. They're talking about a Muslim mosque. All right? Play on. Who among you have met an Arabic kid in the last year? You know what's the funny thing about it? What I realize is some of these Jewish folks, most of them are Caucasian. Some of them are actually mixed in Arabs. Mm-hmm. And they're so stupid that they don't know that the other Jewish call them a damn sand nigger too. That's what they call Arabs, sand niggers. Have you ever heard that term? A lot of you may never heard. Play on. Where did you meet the Arabic kid? Now, first of all, let me just put the camera on me real quick. We are not for Israeli Jewish. We're not for Palestinian Arabs. What we are for is the truth, and we stand behind God and God's prophecy. We're just showing you the level of evil that the Jewish or Israeli are showing, have shown towards the Palestinian Arabs, right? We showed you with Jewish rabbis condemning Zionism, what they do. We're showing you how Jewish children, Israeli children, come up in schools, in secular environments, where the teachers prompt them, and they don't correct them when they make the statements they're going about to make. Play on. He said when he met an Arab, no, he pushed me, talking about the Arab kid. He pushed me away and left. Read on. Play on. What happened when you meet Arabic kids? What do you feel? Now, this is the teacher asking. These are probably no more than 5th to 6th, maybe 7th graders at the very most. Probably, well, they're younger children. Let's just put it that way. They're probably at the most, I don't know, maybe 12 to 14. Let's just say that. Play on. Angry. Play on. I feel I want to kill them.
Wow.
So this is what I'm talking about. As the conversation goes on, I used to be a school teacher. If somebody were to say that, I would stop everything. There's other adults in the building. They would have had an instant lesson on, you don't talk like that. Why would you say that about? So you're saying, by them saying that, he's making a statement that those children, that all Arabs, because what she said, what do you feel about Arab children? Now, again, we're not for or against. So no one, watch, they keep asking. And they let that slide. Why? Because they believe Israelis who claim themselves to be so-called Jews, I can say that, so-called Jews, they believe that they are the people of the book. And in the Bible, it does speak about a day when the Gentiles will serve us, right? So they have that persona. They call them goyim, meaning that they're the heathen, they're nobodies. That's what they have. And they display it openly in their public school system. This is one example. Watch. Let's see if the teachers jump and condemn what that child just said in front of all the peers and the other adults in the room. Okay? Play. What happened? Now remember when it said before, he said angry when he meet Palestinian or Arabic children, right? What happened when you meet an unreligious Jewish kid? Play. We feel sorry for him because he is secular. Why do you feel sorry for him? Is it because he's not born religious? What did he lose? But I just want to point out, there are 1, 2, 3, 4 adults that are probably over 30 years old that are one's leaning against the wall, and they're having a conversation with the whole class. That's my point. And that, now if we was in a world, we say, oh man, they're being racist towards the Palestinians. Well, they can be racist because the Israelis have much more power. You're going to show you tonight how much power they really have in that area. They 100% can be racist, 1,000%, because they have the power. Okay, we almost done. Play on. He's not moving in the right path. They're talking about so-called religious Jewish, or talking about the secular or the non-religious Jewish, which is funny because, and we read earlier before that you have a a rabbi who considered himself a religious Jew, so-called Jewish, was saying that the political Zionists are not religious. And now you have the opposite now, which is it's a bunch of freaking confusion. Play on. How do you see Jerusalem in the next 10 years? Play. Everybody will be a religious Jew. These are children now. Yeah, they're probably 10 to 12. Some, you don't have any facial hair. Maybe 11, 12, maybe 13. Play on. And there will be Arabs, but they will be slaves. So here's the friggin' thing that's amazing about it. Some of these guys right here, they are down the line, they have Palestinian relatives. He ain't no pure Caucasian right there.
Nope.
You see that, right?
That's Ishmael right there.
So it's absolutely amazing that they don't understand. That's why it's like a dumb Negro, a light-skinned Negro whose grandfather is black, but then they got a white mother and they was raised by, and thinking them talking about black people. That's how stupid they look. Okay? Play on. We almost done with that one. I want you to see the level of evil that they start from youth. Play. Oh, by the way, why isn't the ADL, the Canary mission, and why are they not investigating these teachers? Because aren't they speaking hate towards Arabs? So why are they not pressing this school, showing you that the ADL, the Canary mission, and the Southern Poverty Law, their aim or their mission statement is to protect so-called Jewish and Caucasian interest. There's nothing, and the people that should be the one protected if you want to be carnal, is the Palestinians. Okay, now they got a part to pay, and it's true with God. We almost done. Play on. Okay. Oh, because Messiah will be here. Got it. Now, it's a funny thing because a lot of so-called Jews, they don't believe in Jesus Christ the Messiah, but some apparently do. Play on. What do you say? There will be a massive war and all Arabs will die. So again, 4 adults, either they're just the stupidest people or they're fostering and want this thought process to stay with these children. That's the point of this video. Play on. And part of them will be our slaves. So again, they have done a very good job of brainwashing these people to think that they are the Israelites of the Bible, because that is just 100% not true. Now, there are some Israelis who may be the Israelites. When Bishop and them went over there were some Palestinian black brothers over there and some Israelis who are actually descendants of the slave trade, who are our people. They're very sprinkled in there, all right? Yes.
Hey, Captain, you wonder why when you look at the what the military doing to the Gaza people, why they taking so much joy and pleasure in it, because they condition from kids. You see it right here, they being conditioned.
That's a fact.
That's Proverbs 22:6.
Get and read it.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 22 and verse 6. Train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it.
So that's why they're not saying nothing, Cap, because that's part of the curriculum right there. They gonna teach them kids, like the scripture tells us that we leave behind an avenger. They 10 years old and they already speaking like that. It's already in them. That's already in their spirit.
They believe that they are the chosen of God. They actually believe that. So that's what they say. Now, to show you that if the rabbi that was condemning the Palestinian oppression, if he really believes in the Torah, he believes that too. Because let me tell you what I believe. Right now, I'm an Israelite. And I know right now I got no power. Baruch chapter 3, verse 8 says, behold, yet this day I'm in my captivity, right? Where God has scattered me for reproach and me subject to payments. But I know one thing. Not now. I ain't nobody can be my slave in this kingdom. Mentally, I know I'm superior to them. But one day when Christ come back, we going to rule all nations according to Isaiah 14, verse 1 and 2, according to Revelation 2, verse 26 and 27. And we are going to rule them. And they will be our servants and headmaids. Thus saith the Lord. Not now. I gotta pray that I literally have prayed prayers that the people on my jobs over there, I've been in the truth for a long time, have had mercy. Just leave me alone. I had to pray these thoughts. A lot of us have to pray that. We ain't got no real Jewish people got power. They've got industries. They control massive amounts of media influence. What about the real 12 tribes of Israel? We the ones under curse. We can bear. We had BET and Bob Johnson died and he sold that. We don't have anything. Go ahead.
We barely had that. Matter of fact, he sold that to some Jewish people. Viacom is run by Jewish people. But like Officer Michael was bringing out, they train their children up. But it's already bred in them from the beginning. Habakkuk 2 and 4, real quick. It's already bred in them. From the very beginning, these people are wicked. And it is what it is. It's what the Bible says. Read that.
The book of Habakkuk, chapter 2 and verse 4. Behold, his soul, which is lifted up, is not upright in him.
His soul, which is lifted up, his soul, which is prideful, is not upright in him. It is not upright for you to take pleasure in the death and the maiming of your neighbors. They take joy and pleasure in the Arabs dying and killing the Arabs. They call them goyim. Goyim is a word for cattle.
We showed last week a video for a protest that was between the Palestinians and Jewish, where we had it probably in our Telegram, this young, probably early 20s, maybe mid 20s, the level of evil. He said he wanted to make the Gaza like a parking lot. Now remember, the thought process is from the Israeli government is that it's just Hamas. It's just Hamas that they need to eradicate, not the 2.2 million Palestinians. But then you have these children are saying all Arabs need to be destroyed. All Arabs need to be our slaves. Then you have white Jewish Caucasians in this country, in America, at a rally talking about they want to level and wipe out all of Palestine, and just have it either be like a parking lot or rebuilt with nothing but Jewish settlement. So where did he as a 25-year-old learn that? The same way we just watched the video. Where did Netanyahu learn that? He was raised the same damn way. You have to understand it's all the way through them. We're not making this stuff up. Now, get me number 4. I had to do a little research. This is a lady by the name of Golda Meir. She was the first woman prime minister for Israel, and she has something to say. And she, during this time, because she was born in the late 1800s, she is like, yo, let her play. Watch this. This is a Jewish Caucasian woman born in the late 1800s. Listen to her speak about the land of Israel. Listen to what she calls it. Listen to what she says.
Palestine then. Palestine was then the area between the Mediterranean and the Iraqi border.
Pause real quick. So before the Balfour Declaration, before the white man started to set up shop there, Palestine she's going to tell you why she has the authority to say that. Palestine was from the eastern Mediterranean all the way to Iraq. Bishop talked about the land of Israel because Palestine, it used to be much bigger than a small spot. So Palestine was taken over by the Ottoman Turks and then later by what we now know as Arab Palestinians, right? And it was much bigger than what they show on Esau's map. So rewind it again. This is important.
Palestine then. Palestine was then the area between the Mediterranean and the Iraqi border.
You say there is no such thing as
East
Palestinian?
and West Bank, no. East and West Bank was Palestine. I'm a Palestinian. From 21 until 48, I carried a Palestinian passport.
So from this is the Israeli prime minister. From 1921 until 1948, she lived in the land, quote unquote, called Israel. She had a Palestinian passport. This is an Israeli prime minister speaking about truce before 1948, before the Balfour Declaration, before the setting up the illegal occupation sponsored and backed by the Caucasian European, the British government, subsequently reinforced by Esau here in the United States of America. Okay? Go ahead, Officer Mikhail.
You know what? These Israelis are so evil that when they, in 1948, when they had the Balfour Declaration and they signed it, they actually disagreed with the Balfour Declaration, because then the part they disagreed with was how much land they would get. They actually had them redraft that part to where it doesn't specify how much land they would take when they were dividing the land, so that they could come in and increase how much land they would take.
And the way they wrote the Balfour Declaration is one of the shortest declarations. For example, let's put it in layman's terms. The Declaration of Independence was a huge document, right? The Balfour Declaration was like 68 friggin' words.
Yep.
And it was so vague, now it leaves room for what they call interpretation. That's what Esau's a master. Just bend the rules and change the interpretation as he goes. That's exactly, we showed you 2 shows again, the maps of the Palestinian land, how it shrunk and shrunk and shrunk. It's like what they call now, it's like a big, giant, open-air jail. That's what Jewish, Caucasian citizens have said. All right? We got to move on, y'all. It's 10:15 already. Play on the rest of this. That was it? Okay. And now, let's go to number 5. This is a whole YouTube short. Now, I want to show you. This is another Jewish Caucasian woman. She's actually married to a Palestinian citizen, and she's going to, and white women, they just, no matter what they do, they try to sound like they're bringing social justice. It's just, listen to what she got. I just want to show you that there are many Jewish Caucasians who are against Israeli occupation, a.k.a. Zionism. Here is her attempt.
Really Jewish, American as well. My partner is Palestinian, and I can do things that he can't do. I can travel quite freely, and even though his mother is a refugee from what is now Israel, he can't pass areas that are off limits to Palestinians. I have excellent rights, I have health. There are cities in Israel being built for Jews only, and also in the West Bank, settlements being built for Israeli Jews only, while Palestinians are hemmed in, unable to
We
build.
got to pause that real quick. We can't let that go past everybody. The West Bank is supposed to be for Palestine.
Exactly.
But there are settlements being built on the West Bank for Israelis only, for Jews only. Again, it's going into showing y'all that they determine how much of the land they want to take regardless of what's written in paper. They make the rules, they break their rules.
Can we get Micah 2 and 2? The back of your boss.
The book of Micah, chapter 2 and verse 2.
Our people, they just went right over their head. They were put there. The land don't belong to either one of them, but they just showing you, to Cap's point, how they got all the power. They said, look, I can move freely. It's places he can't go. Can you imagine he going on vacation And they tell him, hey, look, man, your wife can go, but you got to take your saying, nigga, you go back home. Read that. Watch.
The book of Micah, chapter 2 and verse 2. And they covet fields and take it by violence.
They got an air jail. You can't go too far left. You can't go too far right. They took it by violence. They rewrote it 68 words to say we can move whatever. We can put our foot here, and now this is ours. And they bombing the hell out of Gaza to do that right now. Read on.
And they covet fields and take them by violence. And houses and take them away. So they oppress a man and his house, even a man and his heritage.
They oppressing the hell out of people in their own land. They can't go. They can't even move around.
Check this out. I just sent a YouTube short. It's very easy. Pull it. It says, "Does Israel stand down?" I want to show you something. It's something that this guy says. It should be no restrictions on it, unless they flag this. And what the guy is going to tell, this guy's a famous guy. He's a Republican, but he's dealing with, he's asking an honest question where normally he wouldn't ask, but because, some of these Edomite conservatives are starting to really question certain things, but they know how far to push it. So watch this.
Did somebody in the government say stand down? That is a legitimate, non-conspiracy question. So I've been to Israel many times. The whole country's a fortress.
So what he says is heavy. Bishop Nathaniel brought this out. What he said is heavy. The whole country of Israel is a fortress. And they have a wall that I'm going to show later on. It is, Bishop hit me up with a text. Shout out to Bishop Nathaniel. The level of understanding that's coming out in IUIC is outstanding. Shout out, Bishop. Let's look to see what he has to say. Play.
I've been to that Gaza border. You cannot go 10 feet without running into a 19-year-old with an AR-15.
So what he's saying is, hold up. Did they say stand down, meaning when Hamas hang glided over, did someone give them the order, let them in? That's what he's asking, a legitimate question. Because this has never happened before. They got the Israeli Defense Force everywhere. You can't sneeze. A fly can't fly. You got the Iron Dome for the big missiles. Mm-hmm. You got the wall. It's a wall. Did someone say stand down? And this is tonight's show. I'm going to show you something. Remember, it says, we read in Jeremiah, that the least of the flock will draw them out, right? Let's think about it. We've been doing shows the last 2 months on CBDs, digital currency. The U.S. dollar is losing value. What better way to bring your economy up than a war? So wait a minute. If Israel is told to stand down, Hamas has always been trying to get over and kill those Israelis, which we're not saying war is wrong either way, right? But, and by the way, the Israelis have done much more death and destruction to the Palestinians than they've ever done to Israelis. Now, so if you say stand down, the Hamas fighters come through. They do take Israeli casualties and hostages. And now you have the motive, because you got video now, to start a war with Israel. Now you unjustly bomb Palestine. What do you think them other Arabs are going to do? Yo, and this is wrong. What are you doing? Okay, Hamas is, your target, you told 2.2 million people to go from the top of Gaza to the bottom. Then you bomb a hospital in the south. Why? Because that's going to draw out who? That's going to draw Iran. And now we've got the president of Turkey is condemning the United States, condemning Israel. What is the population of Turkey predominantly? Arab. Mm-hmm. Then you got Syria. Then you got Lebanon. Then you got Iraq. Well, guess what? If you attack Iran, what just happened in BRICS? The alliance that China did with Iran and Saudi Arabia. Iran is such a big ally with Russia. So if you attack Iran, you think Russia's going to allow that? But by the way, America He's got the most profound military. I'm going to show you later on. In America, if it wasn't for the Lord bringing everything, America could take everybody. They have the force to take everybody. But the Lord is going to have them be divided. Talking about their kingdom. EU's got. Long story short, I'm getting too much in. They want war is the point. So he's saying, did someone tell them to stand down? How the hell do you get guys in hang gliders to infiltrate the most heavily guarded wall on the friggin' planet Earth? This is what the white guy is asking. Play from the beginning. Y'all, maybe you don't understand what I'm saying to y'all.
That guy was.
Do you understand that they could have been given the order to let them come in?
Right.
Do you understand that? And this white boy's like, wait a minute.
We got the
Something
Iron
right
Dome.
about this there, Chuck.
We got the Iron Dome. We got this wall. We got the Israeli defense.
Right.
And yet they were able to walk in.
They've never been able to breach in the history of mankind. Now with 2023, the technology gets better or worse? It gets better. And now all of a sudden, you can get in on any random day. And okay, play. Watch this.
That's an IDF soldier. Right, the whole country is surveilled. We don't talk about Israeli politics very often, and most Americans don't know this. The last 9 months, Israel was on the brink of civil war.
This is the point. You got to understand something. The last almost 3/4 of a year, 9 months, there has been a political beef in, you know, you got Republican and Democrats in the United States. The country of Israel was on the brink of civil unrest and civil war because Netanyahu, I think that's his name, right?
Yeah.
He is the prime minister of Israel. A lot of people in Israel, they don't agree with his policy. They wanted him out. So if you stand down, you send people in, pay him a couple tens of millions of dollars. Here's $20 million. I want you to come in. Here's a force of 1,000. We're going to tell everybody to stand down. You fly over, do what you got to do. Yeah, we might lose 1,000 people. People get kidnapped. It's going to put everything on YouTube. We're going to put it up there, so guess what happens? Now everybody will see us as victims. Now, guess what? Now that's our ploy to go to war. Now, is that far-fetched? Didn't the same thing happen with Leo Frank?
Yep.
Do something evil, play the victim, get international support, get national support. That's what they do. That's their MO. Even though the bishop brought out a class one time, one of the Jewish ladies who had a thick Russian accent, she says, yes, we do it for attention. She said, it is a facade. She said, we played the victim. We cry wolf. She said that.
Yep.
Yes.
They use anti-Semitic as a trigger word.
As a trigger word. And so now, real quick, so finish playing that out. I know Akim.
There were hundreds of thousands of Israelis taking to the streets because Bibi Netanyahu was basically redefining the Israeli constitution. There were protests planned this week against Netanyahu.
You see this? Think about it. If you're the prime minister and you know your ass is about to get thrown the hell out of office, but you control the military, like George Bush is, or not George Bush, the president is also another, a lot of you don't know this, it's civilians. The title of the president of the United States from a military branch, he is the commander-in-chief, meaning he calls the shots. So guess what Netanyahu is? Stand down. That's okay. Everybody has a day off this afternoon. Don't worry about anything. Just boom. Now, because of time of war, they can't kick his ass out of it.
That is.
They can't kick his ass out. The white man is 10 steps ahead of us, but guess what? God is ordering his steps. God is ahead of you, Esau. Esau, you're God's puppet. Give me Romans chapter 9. I'm going to show you he's God's puppet. Esau is in this. I didn't know what he was talking about for a while. I really get it now. Even the conservative white people are like, wait a minute. Something ain't right. Now, read Romans chapter 9. Start at verse 1 and we're going to jump.
The book of Romans, chapter 9 and verse 1. I said the truth in Christ, I lie not. My conscience also bearing me witness.
So when we speak the word of God, we're going to speak the truth. I want you to jump to verse 17.
Verse 17. For the scripture said unto Pharaoh, Even for the same purpose have I raised thee up.
So Esau is the Pharaoh of today. Just like he raised up Pharaoh and hardened his heart, he going to raise up Esau, the least of the flock as well as the biggest of the flock. And guess what? He going to harden their hearts. Despite everybody in the United Nations, everybody in the international saying you are oppressing, he don't care. He is going to continue to do, and he's going, because of that hardness, God is going to use that to bring, they're already talking about, you posted it, in Spain, which is Europe, they're calling to put sanctions and to put armament restrictions on Israel. They want all Europe to come together. Trump is talking about, if I get in office, I'm pulling America out of NATO. Why? Because there's division even in NATO and within the EU. God's causing that because guess what? The hardening of Esau's heart, from the smallest of the flock up to the big boy, the big eagle, God is forcing them to do that. They don't even know. Some of these Edomites are like, damn, I don't even know why we're doing this. They're doing it because the Lord has hardened their hearts, man. Okay? Play on. I'm sorry.
Even for this same purpose have I raised thee up, that I might show my power in thee.
God going to show his power through Esau. Why? Because what you think Iran is going to be the one to, it's going to be Russia's bombs and the U.S. bombs and Israel bombs, the nuclear bombs that's going to set things on fire. He's going to use, like he used Pharaoh, he's going to use Esau from both sides. Read on.
And that my name might be declared throughout all the earth.
Read on.
Therefore had he mercy on whom he will have mercy.
So he's going to have mercy on who he's going to have mercy on. Read on.
And whom he will, he harden it.
And he's going to harden the hearts of Esau. He's the new Pharaoh. Read on.
That will say unto me.
Let's sit on that. Now, let's go back to that video, and then we're going to go to break. Right, Akiem? All right.
Anticipated tens of thousands of people to take to the streets. That's all gone. Netanyahu now has an emergency government and a mandate to lead. I'm not willing to go so far that saying that Netanyahu knew or there was intelligence here, but I think some questions need to be asked. Was there a stand-down order?
It's not just Netanyahu knew, but if you think about it, if you are trying to save an economy of hundreds of millions of people, you have to say to yourself, we need to go to war. We need an excuse to go to war. Do we keep our power and maybe lose 1,000 people? That's the way Esau thinks. If he set that up, now he's got the international community. Who did he need support? Who did Israel need support mostly? United States of America. Mm-hmm. And that's why you got the U.S. saying, we stand by Israel unapologetically, no matter we stand. That's why they sent, later on in this show, they sent the USS Gerald Ford to the Eastern Mediterranean. We're going to show you later on. That is the fiercest aircraft carrier and companion fleet in the U.S. military. It is absolutely a monster. It's a city blocks with airports and laser guard. It's incredible. Anyways, incredible when in regards to war, all right? So with that, listen, we're going to transition out. We got a lot to go over. We might have to do a part 2. We're going to transition over to Officer Mikael with the Bible verses. Stick around, y'all.
They don't like that. No count. We ain't lying. We ain't blind yet. A roaring lion crouching down. They don't like that. The trouble you to watch us do this. We gon' fight back. Yeah, your pastor know he lying. Talking about he know the scriptures like a butcher, so I keep a knife. Pull it out and cut him when it's wartime and spiritual. Praying for my son and them. Praying for my aunties and my...
Hey, Shalom Israel, Most High in Christ bless. Hey, this your brother Officer Mikael, and this is the Bible versus Halloween. Hey, go ahead and play that video. Let's see what black people been doing all these years they've been here in slavery.
Americans who didn't attend balls, parties, or dances or go trick-or-treating, hallelujah parties and church gatherings on Halloween night were a common way for religious black people to seek refuge from demonic shenanigans, potential tricks, or acts of violence by gathering in church for prayer and activities. Because there was violence. A pro boxer named Gypsy Joe Harris won 24 professional bouts in the 1960s with one blind eye. When the boxing world learned of his disability, his boxing license was revoked. It's worth mentioning because his eye was blinded on Halloween in 1957. He and his friends went out to snatch candy bags from other kids, and one of the kids got so pissed he smashed a brick into Joe's eye. From this anecdote, we know that black children went trick-or-treating even amongst the racial violence of the mid-20th century, and that snatching candy bags from other kids has been a long-time tradition. Trick-or-treating had rose to prominence during the 30s, fallen off during the sugar rations of the war years, and rebounded again in the post-war baby boom. Whereas at the top of the century, it was more of a family and communal holiday. By the 50s, enveloped by the newly growing and defined teen culture, a night of unsupervised trick-or-treating became a rite of passage teen activity for many. When mixed with the racism of the civil rights era, it's no wonder that newspaper archives about Halloween are peppered with stories of teen violence or stories that contain black people's worst fears. For instance, on Halloween 1957 in Pontotoc, Mississippi, 2 years after the brutal murder of Emmett Till, a 16-year-old named Jesse Harvey spent his last quarter on 3 Cokes and 2 apples before vanishing. Rumors at a local black barbershop spread that the boy had been seen being shoved into a car by 2 white men at gunpoint. Theories included that he had stumbled upon a bootlegger's stash and been kidnapped, or that he had been picked up by Halloween-minded pranksters. Word quickly spread as the boy was reported missing by his mother. FBI agents arrived and began a manhunt. According to Jet magazine, racist whites in the area told reporters, "If this is another Till case, you ain't gonna find a body. We're a lot smarter." Less than a few weeks after the hubbub began, the 16-year-old Jesse walked off a bus into town and strolled into a drugstore to buy cigarettes, not knowing that people thought he had been abducted by Halloween revelers. It turns out he had voluntarily left out of town to get work on a farm and hadn't told anybody he was leaving. 2 years later in Corinth, Mississippi, another black boy wouldn't be so lucky. 8 white teenagers drove around the black part of town in a pickup truck, throwing firecrackers at black teens who were trick-or-treating. There are many anecdotes of white teens celebrating Halloween pranks during the Jim Crow era by driving to the part of town to cause havoc where people are powerless to stop them. When black trick-or-treaters threw rocks and bricks back at the 8 white teens, they drove to someone's home for a shotgun and then drove back to the black area of town. They chose at random 15-year-old William Roy Prather, who was on his way home from cleaning up after a Halloween party at church with a friend. They murdered him in cold blood. Only 1 teen would serve time for the crime, and it was less than 1 year total, despite being ordered to serve 5 years. The 7 other accomplices to the murder were given probation. In addition to potential violent situations by racist pranksters on Halloween night, racist Halloween costumes have been a fixture of black children's experiences this entire time. From KKK costumes to Nazi costumes to blackface by everyone from politicians to Hollywood tastemakers to the costumes based on victims of police brutality, along with conservative religious beliefs, it's understandable why a small group of black Americans choose to not participate in the holiday at all.
So, as you can see, the history of black folks and Halloween is steeped in violence and racism. So is this something that we should be celebrating? Let's go to the Bible and find out. Give me the book of John, chapter 4 and verse 22.
The book of John, chapter 4 and verse 22.
Uh-huh.
Ye worship, ye know not what. We know what we worship.
It says you worship, ye know not what. So what is Halloween? Halloween is the worship of pagan gods. Halloween is the worship of devils. And should we be sacrificing the devils? Should we be worshiping devils? Go to 1 Corinthians 10. 1 Corinthians 10 and 21. Let's see what the Bible has to say about this whole Halloween thing, and if it's something that we should be dealing with as Israelites. Because if we call ourselves black people, then we're actually partaking in that whole demonic realm. Because black is everything negative. Read that.
The book of 1 Corinthians, chapter 10 and verse 21. Ye cannot drink the cup of the Lord and the cup of devils. Ye cannot be partakers of the Lord's table and of the table of devils.
So you cannot be partakers of the Lord's table and the table of devils. I mean, it's clear and it's present right there in front of you. The Bible is against Halloween. Go to 1 Timothy 4. 1 Timothy 4 and 1. Watch this. Watch this. Let's see if it's in more than one place in the Bible.
The book of 1 Timothy, chapter 4 and verse 1. Now the Spirit speaketh expressly, that in the latter times some shall depart from the faith, giving heed to seducing spirits and doctrines of devils.
Halloween is the doctrine of devils. Halloween comes from your enemies. It is the worship of Samhain. You know who Samhain is? An Irish Edomite devil god. I wish we had some bombs. Go to Deuteronomy. Let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 32 and verse 17. Deuteronomy chapter 32, verse 17.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 32 and verse 17. They sacrifice unto devils, not to God, to gods whom they knew not, to new gods that came up newly, whom your fathers feared not.
Our fathers ain't fear Samhain. Our fathers ain't fear Baphomet, because that's who you're worshiping, that's who you're sacrificing to when you let your children go out and trick or treat. I mean, think about this, common sense. All year long, you tell your children not to speak to strangers, not to take candy from strangers, but yet you let them go and knock on somebody's door that they don't know and ask them for candy. That's why every year around this time, you got people in emergency rooms because they done swallow razor blades because somebody put razor blades in the Tootsie Rolls. It happens every year. When are y'all going to stop being stupid? When are y'all going to stop being stupid? Just, come on. We got to do better, Israel. This has been the Bible versus Halloween. To hell with Halloween. Let's go.
The streets to bring it out, they don't like that. No cap, we ain't lie, we ain't fly, yeah. A roaring lion crouching down, they don't like that. The tribe of Judah, watch us do this, we gon' fight back. Yeah, your pastor know we lied, talking about he know the scriptures like a butcher, so I keep a knife. Pull it out and cut him with his wartime and spiritual. Praying for my son and them, praying for my aunties and my uncles and my cousins.
Talk about Esau. I'm going to let my forefathers, Obadiah, talk about Esau for you, or Edom, because Esau's not just one man. He became a nation. Just like Jacob is not one man, he became a nation.
And thou set thy nest among the stars. A bird, an eagle, an osprey, an owl, a woodpecker, a hummingbird, none of them can fly above the stratosphere. This is talking about, he's using an analogy, man and an eagle. Read it again. Thou exalt thyself as the eagle.
If you look historically, starting from the ancient Greeks, they have always represented themselves on their coins as eagles. The Greeks, the Romans, the Spanish white man, the Portuguese, and even today in America. That's why they said the eagle has landed, brother. You're on the land of your captivity, brother. That's right. And you're living in the last days.
You can tell by my gait that I'm all in. You can tell by my faith that I'm all in. Front line with the truth, I'ma fall in. Even if it's a dead end, going all in. You can tell by the things I'm involved in. I can lose it all for my calling. If I die for the truth, it's a win-win. And go to the end, going all in. Going all in. Going in, going all in. Going all in. I'm going in, going all in. You can tell by the things I'm involved in. I can lose it all for my calling. If I die for the truth, it's a win-win. And go to the end, going all in. Going all in.
I sent another one to you. Check it out, the last one. Hey, all praise to the Most High. Welcome back. We got to jump right into it. So before we showed you Jewish as well as Caucasian perspective questioning what's going on in recent Israel. Now, let's get a Palestinian perspective. The first thing I want to do is number 6, then 7, and then 6 and 7 first. So we're going to start with those two. Now let's hear some Arabs talk about Israeli oppression.
Hey, while they getting that, can we do a real quick recap? I want to go to Ezekiel 36:5. Ezekiel 36:5. Let's make sure who we talking about, because I did see a comment earlier. Somebody said Japheth enlarge it. We want to make sure it's plain and clear who the Bible's talking about, that part of the land. Read that.
The book of Ezekiel, chapter 36 and verse 5. Therefore, thus saith the Lord God, surely in the fire of my jealousy have I spoken against the residue of the heathen, and against all Idumea.
Against who?
Against all Idumea.
Who?
Idumea.
Read.
Which have appointed my land in their possession.
Idumea has appointed the land into their possession. Idumea is the Greek word for Edom, which is Esau. That's who's in the land right now. It's not Japheth.
Right. And some brothers, they don't get it. They also believe that all nations can be saved. A lot of you are confused, but hey, some of you are going to be confused, and you're going to be the ones that are going to be not get this truth. The mystery is going to be hidden from you. Number 6, please. Now, this is an Arab, I believe he's an Arab, speaking about Palestinian a viewpoint in how Israelis, he's very fiery, play.
Israel has the right to defend itself is like saying Jimmy Savile, the prolific child rapper, has a right to defend himself when the child scratched him while he was doing it. Would you ever utter such a thing? Would you ever agree to such a concept? As vile and as disgusting as that is, this is your support for Israel. When you say Israel has a right to defend itself, you're saying that the perpetrator, the instigator, the propagator, the rapper, the abuser, the murderer has a right to defend themselves? This is insanity! I tell you, this is insanity!
Here's a pause real quick. This is biblical. It's going to manifest itself. You're trying to tell me he's the only one to feel it? You don't think that the Yemenis, that the Omanis, that the Saudi Arabian, that the Iraqi, that the Turkish, that the Syrian, that the Lebanese, that the Palestinian Arabs, you don't think that they all, the Palestinians are truly being oppressed, right? Not like the 12 tribes of Israel, but they are being oppressed. He's saying, he used the analogy, he said, think about it. You're being raped, and you as the victim do a little damage, and you're still getting, and now, because of that, you're the bad guy. And that's exactly, it's a perfect analogy. And is that it on that? A little bit more.
Shame on you if you make such and utter such comments. Shame on you. You are dead. Your soul is dead. You have no heart. Your heart's a stone.
I believe that's like a speaker's corner where he's able to display that. Now, the very next one is a sister had a TikTok video, but and I couldn't find the original clip, so I just wanted to roll with this. It's something My Mary Abigail, and this is another. I believe this is a professor. He's very, very educated. This guy right here. He is talking about Israel playing the victim when they're the proverbial rapist. This guy, he says some slick stuff. Play.
Understand what is the logic of Israel carpet bombing Gaza? I mean, if there's a logic, if this will make Israel safe, I want to hear the logic. So if they continue bombing, what are they hoping to achieve?
Well, I think we know what their stated aim is. Their stated aim is to eradicate and wipe out Hamas. They believe Hamas are living predominantly in northern Gaza. They also are aware they're living amongst civilians.
So if I can understand this correctly, basically Israel is doing this to pressure the Palestinian community in Gaza to turn against Hamas. Is that right?
I'm sure that's part of it, yes.
That's part of it. So this is exactly what terrorist organizations do, because terrorist organizations will have no chance beating a whole nation in battle. So they terrorize and they kill the civilians in order to spread fear and terror so they can turn against their government to change their policy or to resign. You have just compared Israel with ISIS. I would say I really applaud Israel for doing one thing that no military force in the world does. Because I heard Ben Shapiro and I heard Ron DeSantis, and they said Israel is the only military force in the world that warns civilians before bombing them. I mean, how fucking cute. That is so nice of them. Because with this logic, if Russian troops started warning Ukrainians before bombing their houses, we're cool with Putin, right? I mean, okay, Habibi, you have...
So what he's saying, and this is where it comes down to black and brown people. The only reason why the international community is actually coming to bat for the Ukrainians, because the national race, predominantly in Ukraine, it is more of a Christian Caucasian nation, right? But the Palestinians are Arabs, which are brown people. They don't have rights. They're poor brown people. Ukrainians had a little bit more power. A lot of them are Caucasian. They have money. So they have a voice. There's a value. There's an emotional connection assigned with them. That's why African countries, they can do what they do. They can do what they do to Arabs. They can do what they do to dark-skinned Asian people because they're seen as nothing. White people do not value brown people. That's just the way it is. And that's nothing to do with the 12 tribes of Israel, the curses. White people, that's just in their heart. They are professed to do evil. They're not right in their spirit at all. Play on. We're going to move on after that.
Go invade. It's fine. You have done your job. Israeli defense minister, he said, those are human animals. And the thing is, Ben Shapiro should...
So hold up. The defense minister for the Israeli government called them human animals. This is, again, the children that we played a video earlier, from the time they're in elementary and middle school, are conditioned to see Arabs as slaves, as less than human. That's why I wanted to show you that. This is embedded in this. Let's say, for example, I'll give you an example. It was a Dave Chappelle. Somebody the black comedian told a joke. He went to a town to do delivery, and he knocked on the door. And a little white girl. It was a racist town. White. He knocked on the door and he said, "Hey, can you go tell your mom there's a nigger at the door?" So the little white girl goes back and says, "Mom, there's a nigger at the door." So then the mom comes out and she acts embarrassed and shocked, like she's never. Because what she's doing is she's covering up, because that's what she was learned, and she lets it slip out. The point is that just like white American racism started in the beginning of this country all the way till now, the same politicians that their grandchildren are here right now, they're back in their fire chiefs. That's why men are still getting lynched and hung in 2023. You got our brother Rasheem Carter had his skull cut in half, okay, and the body's found in 2022 or 23. This year, right? This year. And that racism was learned. It was a learned behavior. But the reality is it's in their spirit. So what makes you think the same race is going to be any different? The Edomite race, whether they call themselves a Russian Caucasian, a Jewish Caucasian, Israeli Caucasian, they have it in them to be not right in their spirit. We proved that. We're going to keep proving that. Is there more? Or are we done? We have a froze. Okay, no problem. So we got 7, right? We finished 7, right? Let's go to hypocrisy of the Israeli government. They're on the verge of a brother named Mark Lamont. He's actually got fired because of some of the things he said before, challenging Israeli government standards or policies. It is only 2 minutes. Number 8. Number 8. All right.
He said that the humanitarian situation, quote, will only deteriorate exponentially, and that crucial life-saving supplies, including fuel, food, and water must be allowed into Gaza. So the UN is saying you must do this. You are saying
this is so the UN acronym United Nations is saying ceasefire. We have to help Palestine with emergency relief, right? Okay. So now, remember what the United Nations said before, and I think it was 2000, right after September 11th, when they said, the UN said, do not go to war. And what did the United States do? They went to war anyways. Showing you that least of the flock, this is the eagles, that they control everything. It doesn't matter what by the way, the United Nations is in friggin' New York City or DC, one of them. So it's in the eagle's nest, and you gonna argue with them? Play.
Not going to do this. How do you?
No, we're not saying that.
He's saying doing it immediately. What I'm saying is what you're doing.
No.
He's saying doing it immediately.
I got you. I'll tell you exactly what we're saying. I'm saying we will do everything for the Gazan people. Once and now we demand immediate surrender, unconditional surrender of Hamas. If Hamas people come out with their hands up and clear their weapons, believe me, everything will be restored to Gaza. It is Hamas in Hamas' hands.
Okay, now I understand.
The lie. Everything restored to Gaza. There's a wall that's built from the top of the country to the bottom of the country. In addition to that, they encroach on areas that they set aside for Palestine, kick people out of their houses and build Jewish cities. So what did he restore? What are you talking about? They have them in an open damn jail. Just go look at what's going on over there. This guy's lying. He says we give everything to Palestine. BS. They shut power down. They shut power down to hospitals with people in them, with patients. This is why the earth is given to. These are some wicked, hypocritical, evil, and God. These are the ones. These are the men that are going to harden their hearts and cause the end to come. Just like Pharaoh was back in the day. These are the new pharaohs. These are the ones God going to use to bring in our deliverance. And you got to say, it is a special type of heart that this guy has. Play on. Mark Lamarck about to catch him. Play.
Thank you for clarifying that, sir. I think we're actually on the same page here. You're saying, he said that the humanitarian situation, quote, will only deteriorate exponentially, and that crucial life-saving supplies, including fuel, food, and water, must be allowed into Gaza. So the UN is saying you must do this. You are saying you're not going to do this. How do you?
No, we're not saying that.
He's saying doing it immediately. What I'm saying is what you're doing.
No.
He's saying doing it immediately.
I got you. I'll tell you exactly what we're saying. I'm saying we will do everything for the Gazan people. Once and now we demand immediate surrender, unconditional surrender of Hamas. If Hamas people come out with their hands up and clear their weapons, believe me, everything will be restored to Gaza. It is Hamas in Hamas' hands.
Now I understand. Thank you for clarifying that, sir. I think we're actually on the same page here. You're saying that once Hamas leaves, you'll grant the Gazan people food, shelter, fuel, electricity, hospitals, schooling. And if they don't, and if Hamas doesn't leave, then they'll continue to starve and die in hospitals. You are defining for the international community right now collective punishment. You're saying until Hamas acts differently, the 2 million people in Gaza are going to be treated this way. And once Hamas acts differently, these 2 million people in Gaza will be treated better. That is exactly what collective punishment is. You're holding them accountable for the actions of others. That is the definition, the textbook definition of collective punishment, sir. Now, you may accept that that's what you want to do, but this is absolutely a contravention of international law.
Well, I'll tell you exactly.
Real quick, I want to just show you this is how they are. They can change policies just like they did with the the Native Americans or the North American Indians, Native Americans, right? Mm-hmm. They create a treaty, or they make the treaty like the Balfour Declaration so vague so that they can interpret and add or take away as they go. That's the heart of the white man. The soul that is within him is not right. They can't be anything. God formed them to be this way. That's the way they are. And he can't get out of it now. He literally boxed them in. Mark Lamont boxed them in. And what he'll do is say, I didn't mean it like that. That's all he's got to say. And then because he's white, because he's Jesus, everyone just forgives him. Go ahead, Iran.
Hey, Cap, and what you're saying, I posted an article. It's saying the same thing. It says, I'm going to just read it real quick. It says, a collective punishment that seriously breach Article 16. It was verse 16. It just
Bring it out.
One short thing. But it goes to show you when you read Job, when it says the earth is given into the hand of the wicked, right? It goes to show you because here they are breaking their own law. You know what I'm saying? And what's the punishment at for it? What's the sanctions? You understand? What's the sanctions that they did to Russia? Because they doing the same dang old thing. Y'all got that? Pull it up real quick.
That's a great.
It's 16.
Hey, Iran, real quick. You just said something heavy. If the international community is being pressured by the EU, aka NATO and the EU, and sanctions and embargoes are being placed on Russia, what Israel is doing to Palestine, in obviously it's a smaller population, but it is so much worse in many ways. Where is the international outcry? Not just to relieve Palestine by giving them aid, to hold them accountable for war crimes and illegal occupation. Where is the international court to bring forth? Shows you that the white man is and controls everything on the earth to include international accountability. You got to see what it is, y'all. But great point.
Read that real quick.
Israeli Prime Minister Ben Netanyahu should be investigated for war crimes by the International Criminal Court, according to Spanish Minister of Social Rights, Ino Ballara. In a video statement posted Monday to X, formerly Twitter, Ballara called on Spanish government to launch a petition for the ICC to investigate Netanyahu over allegedly carrying out a planned genocide in the Gaza Strip.
Now, that's the point I want. Scroll down. Now, it says planned. He took strategic planning on carrying out this attack, this planned genocide. Meanwhile, right there.
Meanwhile, 1 million Gaza residents have been displaced from their homes. Israel has also severed Gaza's access to food.
So they don't have no food. Read on.
Water,
medicine,
and electricity.
So you cut off a million. Not this ain't no little town. You cut off 20,000, 30,000. They cut off millions. They don't got access to food, water, medicine, the treat. So this is what he say. He can say, I'm gonna kill you. I'm gonna hurt you. But guess what? I'm gonna cut off the medicine so y'all can't even heal yourself. Y'all can't even get electricity. Bomb the hospital. You understand? And then to read on, finish it.
Which Ballara called a collective punishment that seriously breach international law and may be considered war crimes.
And that's the thing. He seriously breached it. He didn't, just a little bit. He seriously breached it. But where's they sanctions at? I mute my mic.
Hey, all praises. All praises.
Hey, when you go back, pull that article back up, because there's something that it ties into the other video. When it says a planned genocide. Now, there's two. The first part it is, how were you able to launch an attack on the Gaza Strip to get the international support? That's part of the actually carrying through with the bombing, right? But there had to be a reason to create that. So if you get international sympathy, maybe that's not enough. But now if you allow your country to be attacked, stand down. Don't worry about it. You get this shift off. Don't worry about it. We got it in control. And you allow, just saying, this is why the Jewish people wanted to topple Benjamin Netanyahu. I can't figure how do you say his name? Netanyahu. Because the civil unrest was they wanted him out. So if you drop the guards, stand down, let them come in, or pay them millions of dollars to come on and then attack, you lose 1,000 of your citizens and maybe a couple hundred gets injured, whatever the number is, to keep the power of hundreds of millions and to keep the power, because now the way America is going to get out of debt and do this reset is by going to war, using this war machines, conquering, taking resources to reset the economy. That's why scratch my face. That's why we showed you what they're doing in China. The U.S. is preparing. When you go into Walmart, all those facial recognitions, when you go, they have all these traffic cameras because they're going to take away the dollar. It's going to be a digital currency. They're going to reset it. They tried to use COVID to do it. They're going to reset it, and guess what? It's going to be a time of war. They've already started to censor. They've already started to censor medical alternative healing sites. They've censored many other, like who's the other guy that just got fired? Tucker Carlson. He's a conservative. He was just like trying to be fair. They fired him. They're censoring media. They're going to take away the cash. Why? Because war is going to be the reason that they're going to have the excuse. That's why it's all the little flock, the least of the flock draws them out. Think about it's a master plan when you think about it. Stand down. Come in either by the notion of wanting to get revenge, Hamas, right? Or if you knew it was going to happen and you just allowed it to happen. Or let's say, for example, they didn't have the sophistication. You give them $40 million and you pay them all. Train here. We're going to let the guard down. You fly and do that. If you have the political officials, the people, how can they prove that you did that? You lose 1,000 Israelis, you lose 1,000 of your Jewish citizens. Hey, now we got international support to start a war. That is another way of planned genocide. Because now what's going to happen is you think the other Arabs, according to Second Esdras, they're going to stand around and actually let the Palestinian get slaughtered? Genocide, they're going to eradicate them. The Arabs are going to remember their nature. When the U.S. tries to deal with Iran and these other Arab countries, Russia's getting involved. China's getting involved. This may happen in the next 20, 30 years. We may see World War III in our lifetime. It's showing you what it is, y'all. It's really right here, okay?
Hey, Cap, all praise to the Most High. Can we get Proverbs 21:1? And then after that, I want Isaiah 13:17.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 21 and verse 1.
Uh-huh.
The king's heart is in the hand of the Lord.
It says the king's heart is in the hand of the Lord, meaning the Most High is putting it on all their spirits to do all these things, all this, what they think are red herrings and this covert plan that they have. It's the Most High controlling them to do this. Now go to Isaiah 13:17. Watch this.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 13 and verse 17. Behold, I will stir up the Medes against them, which shall not regard silver, and as for gold, they shall not delight in it.
Hold up. Who are the Medes today? The Medes today is Iran. And recently, the U.S. sent $6 billion to Iran. But in Iran's parliament, they were chanting death to America. So this is the prophecy. And guess what else? Hamas, which is that little terrorist group, is supported by Russia.
Hey, watch this. Since you got on that spirit, get me where it says Iran warns U.S. will not be spared if genocide in Gaza continues. It should be. Okay, now, I want to share. Get me, we pulled it a couple times. Bishop Nathaniel has been teaching this for like a decade and a half or more. Get me 2 Esdras 13 about the dragons of Arabia. What Turkey, the Turkish president is condemning what's going on right now. He came openly and talked about it. Iran is condemning. These Arab countries are condemning what's happening to their brothers, the Palestinian Arabs. So we're going to show you in the scriptures.
Cap, that all matches together because, again, the Medes, that's southwest, actually northwest Iran and southeast Turkey. It's the Iranian people, the Medes, or the Kirkish people today. So it's all tying together.
Right, and all of these, they're ancient relatives, and then the Arabs are scattered throughout. All these nations are going to come together against, and even the EU is going to turn. You start to see with a Spanish representative from Iran's article, that's Western Europe. And Germany, by the way, I have to share this. Germany in 2022 set forth a ceasefire comprehensive plan to stop the war between Russia and the Ukraine. It was going to pass, and guess who vetoed it? The U.S., the United States, who leads NATO, would not allow it to pass. Germany, which is the largest economy in Europe, wanted the war to stop. They had peaceful resolutions. Again, hardening of the heart of this new Pharaoh. So all these nations you mentioned, the Persian, the Medes, the Arabs, the dragons of Arabia, all of them have been oppressed by this eagle. All of them. Okay? Read 2nd Ezra.
The book of 2nd Esdras, chapter 15 and verse 28. Behold, an horrible vision, and the appearance thereof from the east, where the nations of the dragons of Arabia.
The nations of the dragons of Arabia are talking about the Arabs, whether you're Yemenis, Omanis, United Arab Emirates, whether there are Turkish Arabs, there are Iranian Arabs, there are Iraqi Arabs, and now there are Medes and there are different variations of people. They're not all Arabs, but a lot of that whole area, there are Egyptian Arabs, there are Turkish Arabs, there are Arabs from Sudan, there are Arabs all. 2 weeks ago, we showed you last week, the Palestinian uprising. Palestinian Arabs are in Sydney, Australia. They're in South America. They're in Mexico. They're all over the earth, and they all see what's going on. And trust me, they are in all these European countries waiting to. I pray that it don't happen when you on a subway or on a bus or something. Pray the Lord protect us. They're not playing. Okay, read on.
Wherefore the nations of the dragons of Arabia shall come out with many chariots, and the multitude of them shall be carried as the wind upon earth, that all which hear them may fear and tremble.
Because they're going to come, and are they going to come with a USS carrier ship? Are they going to come with great fighter jets? No, they're going to do warfare like Allah Akbar. They're going to do the crazy kamikaze style warfare, right? Jeremiah, I think it was Jeremiah, says he will fill thee with men as with caterpillars.
Yeah.
They're going to eat you from the inside out. And that's what they're doing. And there's Arab populations in England. There's Arab populations in Australia, in France. Remember when the Arab kid got killed in France? There was the looting because the Ishmaelite kid got killed unjustly by the police. The whole the looting and the fires in Paris, we had the brothers call in. It was because an Ishmaelite got killed by the police. There's thousands and thousands of Arabs in all these European Caucasian countries. How they going to come out like chariots? They're going to come out when you least expect it, and they're going to be afraid. Okay? Read on.
Also the Carmanians, raging in wrath, shall go forth.
The Carmanians is talking about the Iranians. Okay, the Iranians. Read on.
Shall go forth as the wild boars of the wood.
Right, wild boars. You ever seen a wild boar? Watch a video of a wild boar. They are absolutely fearless. They will walk right into a pack of hunting dogs. They don't give a damn. They will charge. It doesn't matter. They will charge anything. Wild boars they got a death wish. Read on.
And with great power shall they come and join battle with them, and shall waste a portion of the land of the Assyrians.
The Assyrians is talking about the so-called white men. They're going to waste the portion. What portion is that? They all coming for that land of Israel. Okay, and then ultimately the missiles are going to be turned on this place. The smoke of her torment. Babylon the Great. When you read in Revelation, I don't get time to go into that. Read on.
And then shall the dragons have the upper hand.
Right, and they're going to have the upper hand. I just wanted to show you that real quick. Now, we're not going to get even to half of this, but I wanted to show you one more thing before we go to Larback attack. One more thing. Get me number 10. This is a good, I got to do part 2. There's so much we did not get to tonight, and I'm trying to condense it without skipping, but I want 0 to 422, that's it. And then he makes some really good point. Here's another conservative Edomite that, it's amazing. This is how the truth will change you, right? A lot of us in this room used to be Democrats and side with these liberals, right? If I had carnally to put any values in anything, the conservative Republicans actually have more, it's the lesser of the two evils. So this Edomite is very concerned because he's an investor. So we get some of this news from investors. This is an investor is concerned about losing his money in his country, his beloved country, being destroyed. And he refers to his forefathers who are making the moves, which we know as the top Edomites. he refers to them as globalists. So when he's talking about globalists, he's talking about the trillionaire white people. That's what he's talking about. Play on.
Insane? Are these globalists trying to start World War III? It sure as heck seems that way. And clearly the destruction of the United States.
We got to pause here. As long as it's playing for the people, that's all that counts.
Is their main goal, by the way. Just look at the markets. It's turmoil. A war in the Middle East is the perfect cover for these globalists to implement the Great Reset. Take away your cars, take away...
Are they able to see online? Is the link?
I mean, the audio was playing, the video just froze.
All right, do me a favor. While we wait, get me the book of Ezekiel chapter 38, verse 11. So when you, and I had a clip and I can't remember where it is, type it, do me a favor, Asa, one of you. I want you to, what is the length of the Israeli wall? And it is something like, they made a comparison. It's like going from San Diego to San Francisco. It's like the huge, well, I don't think it's that big, but it is hundreds and hundreds of miles, I believe, if I'm not mistaken.
The book of Ezekiel, chapter 38 and verse 11.
What Bishop is a prophet. Play on, read on.
And thou shalt say, I will go up to the land of unwalled villages.
So Bishop, he pointed this out. Read the verse above it real quick.
Verse 10. Thus saith the Lord God, it shall also come to pass that at the same time shall things come into thy mind, and thou shalt think an evil thought. And thou shalt say, I will go up to the land of unwalled villages.
So the land of unwalled villages, what does that mean? Because remember, in order to be unwalled, there had to be what? There had to be a wall there first. So what we're going to show you is, like the other guy showed you, that it is such a heavily guarded wall that splits, borders the Israeli or the land of Israel. Read on.
I will go to them that are at rest.
That's going to be us. Read on.
That dwell, safety. All of them dwelling without walls.
All of them dwelling without walls. That's when we make our return. Just like the Berlin Wall was taken down, there will be no more walls in that land. Right now, there is walls. So the real Jews, they're not in their land is the point. That's going to happen after, without walls. Read on.
And having neither bars nor gates.
And that's why the Palestinians have to pass through this gate to get to part of their land, their farmlands. Okay? Go back. We're almost done, y'all. Okay. Yes. Okay, so read that, please.
Israeli West Bank barrier. The Israeli West Bank barrier comprising the West Bank wall and the West Bank fence.
They have a fence and a wall. Read on.
It's blow it up a little bit.
I'll read. Let me read it. Okay, go ahead.
The highlighted part. At a total length of 708 kilometers, that's 440 miles, upon completion, the route traced by the barrier is more than double the length of the Green Line. With 15% of its length running along the Green Line or inside Israel, the remaining 85% running as much as 18 kilometers, 11 miles, inside the West Bank, effectively isolating.
Talk about an unrighteous property marker. Think about that. 15% of it runs inside of Israel, so-called the land, right? Then 85, more than 3/4 runs up to 11 miles encroaching on Palestinian land. Show you how, and they built that. So you can't argue with a property friggin' market. This is how, and here's my point of going there. 440 miles. That's like going from, that's longer than the state of Louisiana. Because how long does it take to get to New Orleans and Shreveport? Let's. I want to get in perspective.
Hey, scroll that back down. While Cap is looking for that, it says that part of the wall that's inside is effectively isolating about 9% of the land and approximately 25,000 people, Palestinians, from the west of the Palestinian territory. So you're separating these people from their land. It ain't their land, it's ours, but it's the land that they know. You're separating them from it. That's evil.
Okay, so let's just put it in perspective. Those of you who are online, Louisiana is the state that's shaped like an L in the United States. It is a pretty tall state. It is like going from the bottom of the state of Louisiana to the very top of this. If you look up, so I'm not acting crazy, the top of the boot, what is the distance from north to south the state of Louisiana? I don't think it's even 440. I don't think it's even that tall. Even that many. The point is, the wall goes throughout the entire country. It is absolutely huge. And it doesn't just go straight, it wraps. That's why it's so long, because it goes like this. Because remember, the West Bank and the East Bank.
Right.
So if we can get
Hey,
that
look
figure.
Look up from.
So go 379 from the bottom of Louisiana to the top.
And that's from the Gulf Coast of Louisiana to the Arkansas state line?
We'll just call it 400. Let's just call it 400. Let's just say they're wrong, it's 400. Go back to that figure. That wall is 400, and it would be like going from the bottom of Louisiana to the top and then about another 40 miles into Arkansas. That's how much wall or fence that they have. That's when we read in, shout out to Bishop Nathaniel, the Most High is giving him the understanding. Through the Spirit of the Most High, that's talking about our land. And when we go back and to be at rest, there's going to be no walls showing you that the real Jews are not in the land. And that's what you brought out earlier, the division of the separation, Ezekiel 36:5. Get that one more time. We're not going to get that. I have so much more I want to get to. I have battleships and aircraft carrier.
The book of Ezekiel, chapter 36 and verse 5.
Therefore,
thus saith the Lord God, surely in the fire of my jealousy have
the Lord is mad as hell. And guess what? You have the international community is perplexed and shocked that Palestine are truly being victims, right? And you have the Israeli playing their victim. The Lord is jealous because the Israelites, we're in New York City in the Bronx. We're in the ghettos of Miami. We're in the ghettos of Cleveland, Ohio. We're in the ghettos of East Texas, the cities out there. We're in these reservations all throughout there, and we are the real Jews who are struggling. And the Lord is mad at what's going on over there. So that's why he's going to harden Esau's heart and cause the valley of decision to come up. Read on.
Surely in the fire of my jealousy,
he mad,
have I spoken against the residue of the heathen.
The residue of the heathen is talking about the Palestinians are the residue of the heathen. The Idumean Israeli Caucasians who label themselves as Jewish, he's mad at the residue of those people. Read on.
And against all Idumea.
And now he lists them. Idumea is talking about Edom, which is the so-called white man. And you don't believe me? Go read the book of Obadiah. You can't get around it. You cannot get around it. Read on.
Bring it on.
Which have appointed my land.
Wait, who has appointed? It started before that. 1917, the white Jewish Caucasians went to the power at the time. The British Caucasian wrote a 68-page word called the Balfour Declaration that basically stole the land from the Palestinians. Now we know that's our land, right? Read on.
Which have appointed my land into their possession.
Right.
With the joy of all their heart.
And that's why they sing. Their armies right now are singing songs of Moshe and David, they're saying, as they get ready to invade the Gaza Strip. They joyfully do that. They joyfully do what they do in the land that they say is their land. Read on.
With despiteful minds.
The despiteful mind is, again, how the hell you gonna breach the most heavily guarded wall on the planet Earth? It's 440 miles, and you just so happen to be able to fly a bunch of hangers out when the prime minister of the country was about to get ousted, civil unrest, about to be a civil war. So you create a situation where they can't remove you from power. Why? Because it's a time of war. You declare war on the Palestinians. Now that's the reason to bring the U.S. in. Is the U.S. involved right now? Yes. Last thing. Get me, hold up. I'm going to show you. Listen, y'all, we got to get our stuff right. That's why all you out there, we got to check our spirits. Right now, what you should be doing, all you Israelites out there, what we should be doing is Philippians chapter 2, verse 3. The same mind Christ had as we prepare for our deliverance, you should be trying to help your brother. You should be trying to have that spirit to esteem each other better than yourself. And if you do that, there's very room for sinning and evil. We have to be going to the Lord with contrite heart, praying multiple times a day. Why? Because we're in it, brothers and sisters. We are at the end. I don't know how much longer we got. No man knows the time, not even Christ knows. But we know we're at the end. Okay? I'm gonna show, because remember it said in Jeremiah, it said the least of the flock will draw them out. Well, pull up the article about the USS Ford. And how did he draw them out? Because you don't understand. This is I didn't understand how powerful this aircraft carrier is until we watched this video. Yes, sir. And we're going to go large back attack. We'll do part 2 next week, y'all. I apologize if it is a lot of stuff we're bringing out. 14, go from 0 to 344. Then we jump into 630, and then we're done. Large back attack. Bear with us.
Gerald R. Ford aircraft carrier was sent to the Mediterranean because of the situation in Israel.
Pause. That is what we read before. The least of the flock shall draw them out. They're not hanging out in Spain and Portugal, in San Tropez. They're hanging out in the Eastern Mediterranean. Guess where that is? That's right near Jordan. That's right near Turkey. That's right next to the land of Israel, 150 kilometers off the coast. And watch what they bring. They don't bring an average ship. They bring, 2009 it was built, the most expensive, most powerful aircraft carrier in the U.S. arsenal. There is no more powerful ship than this. And it has a fleet with them. Wait till you see that. You don't understand. This, when they said Esau, his heart is going to be, and he shall rule, and when you read in Genesis, and war shall be in his heart, and he shall rule with war, he gave Esau a special spirit to create weaponry. I'm going to tell you right now. Play.
This is the world's largest ship equipped with advanced weapon systems, the best ship defense system, and 90 maneuverable fighters that are ready to attack at any second.
Pause real quick. By the way, they say 90. It's more than 90. Okay, they have multiple decks with elevators that can take 65 tons. They got a lot more than 90. They'll tell you 90. Okay, these are F-16s and other. Watch, play on.
Gerald Ford is accompanied by an equally dangerous cruiser and 4 destroyers with nuclear missiles, as well as a reinforced.
In the interest of time, this aircraft carries $13 billion. It has 4 naval destroyers and, well, play on. Play on.
U.S. Air Group. According to the Pentagon, such measures were taken in response to the Hamas attack on Israel. After a series of meetings, it was decided to strengthen the Defense Department's position in the Mediterranean region, and the Gerald Ford Strike Group is the best solution to deter the enemy. And if you're wondering how the United States can help Israel from the sea, we'll explain it all now. The USS Gerald R. Ford, a new generation aircraft carrier, was launched in 2009. And there was an urgent need to strengthen the U.S. Navy. The aircraft carrier was designed and built by Huntington Ingalls Industries, which is the only nuclear ship manufacturer in the United States.
Pause. They have 2 nuclear-powered reactors. One of them can light up an entire city. That's why they can go on long excursions for months and months at a time. Play on.
You heard right. It's a nuclear ship because Gerald R. Ford has 2 nuclear reactors weighing over 1,000 tons each. They allow the ship to serve for a very long time, as the developers themselves say.
And the foundation that we're building here today at Gerald R. Ford will last for the next 50 plus years. It will last throughout our lives. If we get this right, Gerald R. Ford will go on to be not just the most technologically advanced warship in the Navy, but the greatest warship in the Navy.
If such a reactor were...
if it wasn't a serious threat, why would you, the greatest military on the earth, send your best ship with your best fleet? Why would you do that? Because you're planning for something very, very big to go down.
ACAP. Not only did they send the Gerald R4, they sent the Eisenhower over there too.
I didn't know that.
Yep.
So they have more than just one aircraft carrier.
Yes.
Check this out. Oh, but listen, next week we're going to do part 2. We're going to cover even more. And by the way, there'll probably be multiple new updates by the time we get to next week's show. So y'all watch this. Watch this. Play on.
On the ground, it could power an entire city without interruption. However, on this giant chip, almost all of the energy goes to power a pair of giant electric motors the size of 4 pickup trucks stacked together. They develop 1,100 megawatts of power, which is equal to 1.5 million horsepower. However, Gerald R. Ford cannot fly on the water like a race car because with the deck 1,100 feet long and 260 feet wide and 245 feet high, the ship weighs 100,000 tons.
Do me a favor. Type in 100,000 times 2,000. 100,000, so every ton is 2,000 pounds. Type in 100,000 times 2,000. How many pounds is that ship? Sometimes you gotta break stuff down. No, it's a lot more than 200 million. Or maybe it's 200 million. Maybe it's 200 million. 100,000 times 2,000 is 200 million? Okay. That 200 million pounds. Play on.
First time we can see an aircraft carrier of this scale, and it's not without reason that it's the largest in the world. You're probably eager to find out what this monster's armed with. We'll tell you in a moment. First of all, when you enter the deck, you'll notice the legendary Mark 15 Phalanx Sea-Wiz air defense system.
Now, this is the point I wanted. We're about to talk about the weaponry that this one ship has. Now, mind you, it has 4 destroyers and another ship that I can't remember the name of it. And now it's going to talk about all of the defense and offense it has. Play.
System is considered to be one of the best anti-aircraft artillery systems in the world today. And all because it has a rate of fire of 4,500 rounds per minute and an initial projectile velocity of 3,600 feet per second.
LPWS is the weapon system you see in front of you. It's designed to shoot down incoming rockets and mortars coming into the FOB.
When attacking, the Phalanx creates a continuous arc of projectiles that looks like a laser. By the way, Gerald R. Ford also has a laser. Lockheed Martin's Laws shipboard laser system is powered by the aircraft carrier's nuclear reactor, which allows for continuous
so they have
attacks.
A giant laser beam that gets its power from a nuclear reactor. You can't make this stuff up. That's why Esau rules by the sword. That was his blessing. Who is the Chinese don't got this technology? Do the Arabs have this? No. What about the Africans? The white man is Esau. He is the seed of Cain. They were blessed with war.
ACAP.
Okay.
But you got Negroes in America that think they can fight Esau with a chopper.
They got a Draco, think he doing something.
Esau is blessed with warfare. Okay, play on.
On enemy aircraft and missiles at a distance of 3 miles. The laser's power is enough to damage aircraft electronics or completely destroy projectiles flying towards Gerald R. Ford.
So
and if you need to...
It can, with pulsation of light, not even actually metal rounds that go down range. With light from a nuclear reactor, it can take drones out. What's the rate of fire of a laser? This is why God has to harden their heart. The whole world is going to turn on Esau. That's it. It's going to get to the point where you got European countries like, enough's enough. Germany's like, we're the 4th largest. Our economy's going down. Let's just end the war. Here's the peace. U.S. says nope. The heart is hardened to the point where the EU is going to turn. All the Arabs going to be like, you are eradicating our Arab brothers in Palestine. That's what all of the Arab countries, all across the world, they're all going to realize America is that great seed of Satan, that they are that Babylon the Great, and that's what it's going to take. Because the military that this man has can beat all their militaries together. It's going to take something real special. It's going to take Russia going on a suicide mission, okay? Now, I don't know when this is going to happen. I don't know if it's going to happen exactly like that, but the Lord is showing us, the Lord is showing the class after class after class, this is the series of events that's going to happen, all right? Play on. We're almost done. I know it's this late.
Not only disable, but also destroy enemy aircraft, the REM 116 will come into play. The gun looks like a complex from a science fiction movie and holds 20 missiles capable of shooting down targets at a distance of 6 miles at a flight speed of over 2,200 miles per hour. The most important part of Gerald R. Ford is its airstrike group, consisting of 90 fighters and helicopters. According to the Pentagon spokesman, before the operation to deploy the carrier...
That's it? Go to the next one, because we're showing you this is the Gerald Ford, which is a relatively 14-year-old new aircraft carrier, but it is also supported by a lethal team of 5 additional ships that they tell you about. Now, watch this, the next time mark, and then we're going to go to Lardback. Remember, why are they here with their most incredibly advanced aircraft carrier? Because, number one, everything is being planned and plotted. God is behind it all because the U.S. dollar is losing value. They need a war to boost the economy because their nest is threatened. BRICS is a threat. Bishop brought this out. You think the U.S. is going to let this happen? They're not going to allow this to happen. And it's going to take a great miracle, and God's going to be behind that to bring this eagle down. Okay? Play.
21 Raider, which will suddenly take off and deliver a devastating blow to the center of the enemy base. However, for such purposes, Gerald R. Ford has reliable companions which sail with...
This is the fleet. Now, there's the carrier. Look at the formation that they're in, right? Now, they're going to talk about 5 additional ships. But if you look right there, there's more than 5, right? They're going to talk about just 5 of them. But there's actually, look at the trail all the way to the left. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 that we can see. See the train on the water? Now, so that's what they'll show you, right? But they're going to talk about 5 specific additional warships that are in itself a force to be reckoned with. Now, I'm not glorifying what Esau. I'm just showing you the power that this man has. That's why he says the horde has sit upon many waters. How the hell can you be involved in the Middle East politics and have bases all across the world unless you don't got this type of power? In order to sit on all these waters, you got to be able to move people out the damn way. This is what this man has. Play.
It wherever it goes. The strike group includes a Ticonderoga-class cruiser with guided missiles. Cruisers of this type are one of the most powerful and multi-purpose warships in the world and are widely used by the U.S. Navy. The Ticonderoga is equipped with the Aegis system, which is perhaps the best set of protection against enemy attacks. This system combines an advanced target detection and acquisition system, as well as SM-2 and SM-6 missile systems that can easily deal with enemy aircraft at a distance of 220 miles.
Oh, did you hear that?
The cruiser...
Not the aircraft carrier. The support ships with it can shoot down enemy aircraft 220 miles? Is that what it said?
Yeah.
220 miles away. Not 2 miles, 220 miles. That's the support staff that protects the Gerald Ford. Play on. We're almost done.
Target detection and acquisition system, as well as SM-2 and SM-6 missile systems that can easily deal with enemy aircraft at a distance of 220 miles. The cruiser also has the means to search for and attack submarines, including deep-sea torpedoes. The most interesting feature is the ability to attack land targets with Tomahawk.
So now, you thought 220 miles. So now, remember there were about 150, I forget how many kilometers they were off the coast of Israel. I'm not sure exactly. You'll hold me to that. But now, 220 miles, it can fight enemy aircraft from 220. Watch what it can do from the destroyer to land. How many miles it can accurately hit from sea to land. Watch this.
The most interesting feature is the ability to attack land targets with Tomahawk guided missiles. What's the specialty of this missile? Its incredible range of 1,000 miles. The missile is capable of carrying any type of warhead, from a high explosive to a cluster munition.
Say it, Officer Michael.
Those Tomahawks, they can be nuclear.
And Micah, when Officer Micah says something, it's because he's been in, may I share this with you? Been multiple tours of combat around weapon systems, around rooms with brass, around people that are experts, hearing them in war, in theater. This man has been around that. So when he's speaking about it, listen to him. Say it again, Officer Micah.
Those Tomahawks can be nuclear tipped, a nuclear payload. It all depends on what they want to shoot. They can be sidewinders, they can be nuclear tipped. Chances are if they firing them, they probably gonna be nuclear. 1,000 miles, they're not wasting those.
Nope. So a Tomahawk missile shot not from an aircraft carrier, from a destroyer that's a support fleet, can shoot 1,000 miles away and decide what type of warhead they want to put on a Tomahawk missile. This is one of the ships. Not to mention the 90 aircraft that can drop bombs from above that also could have nuclear warheads. This is why the U.S. can do what this is why everybody, Iran, they all fear the U.S., okay? And this is what the Lord, I'm telling you, the Lord is going to have it look like America and Israel are so evil, and it's going to force people, the Lord going to use them. And Russia's the key player right now. Russia's got all nuclear bombs. They're the ones, when they try to beef with Iran, they're not going to have it. Russia's not going to allow them to destroy, because Iran is going to help Russia with we talked about the pipeline, we talked about the alliances with BRICS and everything.
Can we get Isaiah 54 and 16 real quick?
The book of Isaiah, chapter 54, verse 16.
All praises.
Behold, I have created the smith that bloweth the coals in the fire.
He said he has created the smith. The smith is the blacksmith, the weapons maker that do what?
That bloweth the coals in the fire, and that bringeth forth an instrument for his work.
An instrument for his work. The Most High's work is going to be destruction. Read.
And I have created the waster to destroy.
He created the waster to destroy. A Tomahawk missile that can fly 1,000 miles and you can put any warhead that you want on that. Come on.
Hey, listen, y'all. We're going over. We're going to go to Laura Back Attack. Stay with next week. We're going to do a part 2, a continuation about the eagle's nest, the global nest, and creating war. We'll have new content because right now, tomorrow, something's going to happen. The next day, watch Al Jazeera, watch Reuters, watch these Reuters, watch different international news sources. You're not going to learn what's going on if you stay with the 3 big or the 4 big Caucasian News Network, Caucasian Broadcasting Center, all these CBS, all these. So anyways, stick around, Loud Break Attack. We're getting ready to wind down. Shalom. Shalom, Laura Back Attack. Quick, fast. Thanks for staying with us. The late night show. Subscribe, IUIC New Orleans. Hey, share the videos. Tell people about us. We're trying to grow. This is the Laura Back Attack where we read a couple scriptures and then we're going to make fun of fat people. I don't give a damn who I offend. Because at the end of the day, it's your fault. It's a first-rate problem. They don't have this problem in well, they do now, more Western ways of eating. But in the traditional cultures of most people on earth, they're not lard asses because they have real things they got to deal with. Like getting plumbing, okay? Read.
The book of Sirach, chapter 30 and verse 25.
Come on.
A cheerful and good heart will have a care of his meat and diet.
You got to care about the food you eat and how you eat it. Your diet should be how you live your life. I tell you all the time, research it for yourself, get your doctor's permission. Those of you who are eating 3 to 5, 6 times a day It is bad for your system. It's bad for your body. It's a Babylonian, European way to eat. Our bodies were designed like that. Eating one, very little sufficient for a man. Well, no, you can eat 1, maybe 2 times a day at the most with no snacks. You will see great improvements in your health. Cut out the damn carbs and refined sugars, lard ass. Read on.
Yes.
Okay, now, give me Ciroc. No, that's it. We'll go right to the now. Pull up the lard back. Now we're going to show you some super fat. Today's the woman's day. I got no men. This woman is no less. She's 400. She might be 450. At least 400 pounds. And I am absolutely impressed. She probably burned 500 calories doing this dance. Because to move that much weight, I'm going to tell you something. No one said lard backs can't move it and shake it around. I just want to show you that morbidly obese lard asses think that they're sexy. Not that we shouldn't say sexy as Israelites. But in her mind, she thinks she's sexy. What she is just this to make a man want to throw up if he was eating a delicious sandwich. Play.
If you see me and you tryna see what's up, he wanna fuck with me, then I'ma have him stuck.
Now wait a minute, I just noticed something. You do realize that there's supposed to be more of a bump in the back. Rewind it. There's actually more of, it looks like her rear end has been reversed and her back has been spun 360. That looks like her rear end in the front. Yeah, because her back is flat, but her front, like if you turned her whole body, then that would look more appropriate. This goes to show this is it's a black woman. This is an Atlanta black woman. This is an American diet. And listen, we have failed our people. There should have been a black man in her life smacking the crap out of the fork as she went to take the third doggone bite of the food. Okay, men are responsible. We got to fix us first before we can fix something like this. And I don't hate this system, man. Okay, someone should be correcting her ass because this is super unhealthy and absolutely deplorable to look at. I don't give a damn who I offend. Play.
If you see me and you tryna see what's up, he wanna fuck with me, then I'ma have him stuck.
I'm sorry, she's like, now, this is interesting. I believe that she has 2 knee braces on each knee because she's about to get low. Watch this Atlanta lardback begin to, in the words of a famous rapper, break it down. Play.
Got a stupid butt. Jewelry on your wrist, fucking hold it up. When I holla ski, that me pull up. Crossing and fine, and they fast as fuck. I'm looking good when I'm hopping out that truck. Where the hood niggas that they get them bucks.
Pause, that's enough. Now, this woman is, it's not funny. She's morbidly obese. It is funny. She's between 400 and about 450 pounds. And that is an Israelite, and she ain't supposed to look like that. Now, next one. Now, this one is a lard back on a lard mobile going through, I believe this may be a Piggly Wiggly's. I'm not sure. But there's something logistical that's going to happen. And I also want to prove that lard backs are she's just a lazy watch. You would think, I'm thinking maybe she's handicapped. Watch the lard back. Play. Now be mindful, the scooter clearly fits through that door. Now, it's not just Israelites that are. This is an Edomite. This is an Edomite. Play on. So she can walk. She's holding up the whole line. Now, what the lardback did is get very creative. She begins to realize that the laws of physics say width can be narrowed by length. Let us watch. She just simply made a quick adjustment with the shift left, thus making the angle, because here's the deal. How Do you see women like that walking around in Nova Scotia? Do you see women walking around like that in Tanzania or Macedonia? No, it's only in, this is why this is the age of decadence in Babylon the Great. And it's only started in the last 40 years of lardbacks getting that big. It's absolutely deplorable. Even sumo wrestlers are like, damn, she is super fat. Even a big giant sumo. Next one, we're almost done. Now, some of you get offended, but you know what? At the end of the day, all of you, it's got to start with you brothers. You got to lose the weight. We got to turn to our women, help our sisters so we can be the subsection of black and Hispanic and Native American culture that we show that we do not subscribe to the standard American Babylonian diet. We go into the scriptures, we eat like God says, and if you do that, you're going to lose the weight because you're going to get healthy first. You're going to lose the weight, and we're going to show the subsection of our people that we differ from the world. We're coming out of this world, and that includes the way that this world told you to eat. Okay? Play. Now, let me tell you something. I'm not saying lardbacks do not come across as being happy. I remember that lady that goes to yoga classes and just yells at the instructor. She was a national fat advocate. This is a woman that has quite a bit of money because everywhere she goes, she has to do what? But I believe that she just bought one. Watch what she's about to do. Play on. Now, so this is not only, the thing about a lardback is this, not only do we have a comedic relief, we also realize that the laws of physics are absolutely still in play. Because when she did bounce up and down, the equilibrium or the balance of the aeronautical angle was thrown off. And the plane did a 360. Play it again. Doggone it.
Is this your seat?
Hey, here's the deal. Hey, listen. She's about 380, 400 pounds. So here's the deal. Israel, we got to get healthy. Make a joke. I understand it. But at the end of the day, people that are morbidly obese, you have a significantly higher chance of getting diabetes too. You all have insulin resistance, strokes and heart attacks. You got to fix it. It starts with you men. You have to be leaders first. That's it on the Late Show Lardback Attack. We went 2 hours and 20 minutes. Y'all, thanks for staying. Next week, we're going to tune in. We're going to continue to part 2. Thank you. Subscribe. Lardback Attack. Signing off. I'm Captain Sean.
Hey, look, Israel, if y'all want to continue to see these shows, give support. Y'all can give arms to New Orleans via PayPal at iuic.neworleans@israelunite.org. Also, while we see all this prophecy coming to pass, we got to continue to push this truth throughout the four corners of the earth. Because once this truth reaches the four corners of the earth, then shall the end come. You can help make that prophecy come through by donating to the Booster Club at iuic.fundraising@israelunite.org. Also, if y'all enjoyed Tabernacles 23 in OKC, guess what? When we have our own land, it could be even better. So donate to the land fund. You can do that via PayPal also. Donate to Israel at israelunite.org. Make sure you put in the descriptions, land fund.
All praise to the Most High, y'all. Thanks for staying. The Late Show, we know in New York it's almost 1 o'clock. Thank you for staying with us. Share this. We're trying to grow our subscription base. We're trying to get content that we're known for a lot of global geopolitical things that are going on in the other side of the earth, whether it be Europe, whether it be in the so-called Middle East. And like I said, y'all, share this, help us to grow. We're going to sign off Late Show. With that, we're your hosts. I'm Captain Shem.
Officer Mikael.
Officer Micah.
Officer E-Rain.
With that, we tired as hell. We know you tired. Thanks for staying up. With that, we say shalom.
I see. It's love.